time, we'd like to thank and welcome all the award recipients. The awards committee met in March and made recommendations to the Board of Governors who approved the recipients being awarded here today, and we've got a great group and we're very proud of that. After the luncheon is over, we will be taking pictures, and they'll be taking pictures right over here, so make sure you stay around for your pictures. It is now time to recognize those individuals or entities whose work has brought honor to themselves and to our legal profession. Joining me is our current KBA President, Greg Goheen, and helping also is Carol Maxim from the KBA. We begin, if you will, by taking a moment of silence for those members who have passed away over the last year. A list was provided to you in your registration folder. If you will, please take a minute. Thank you all. We certainly have lost some good ones this year. At this time, we would like to honor those lawyers who have belonged to the Kansas Bar Association for 25, 50, and 60 years. The 25-year certificates will be mailed to each of you, and the attorneys who receive the 50 and 60-year awards can pick up their certificates at the back of the room after the luncheon. We're glad to have some of the lawyers who are receiving these awards with us today, and as we read your names, will you please stand, and if you don't mind holding the applause till the group is finished. Martha Burnett Crow. Paula Day. Andrew Demarius. Richard Eckert. Lee Fisher. Greg Going. Catherine Kirk, and William Thornton. Congratulations to all of you.
We now get to honor the 50-year awardees, and we'd ask that you each stand as I read your names, and again, hold your applause so we have everybody acknowledged. Larry Arnold, Scott Bynes, David Berkowitz, Alicia Hurd, Robert Minter, Bryce Moore, Benjamin Neal, and Keith Wilkie.
And we have 5 members who have served their profession for 60 years. David Arst, the Honorable Paul Buchanan, Haywood Davis, Honorable Gerald Rushfelt, and Robert Steffen. Congratulations. Would the recipients of the pro bono certificates please come forward and join us on the stage? Pro bono certificates of appreciation are given to lawyers who voluntarily contribute their professional time to providing free legal services to the needy. Details about all of our award recipients are available on the KBA webpage, as well as biographies on the winners, and I would urge you to please look at those. You might feel a little guilty about not doing more pro bono work. Everett Fritz. Everett is an emeritus attorney for Kansas Legal Services who assisted 89 clients and volunteered 184 hours in 2017 alone. He volunteers at the Johnson County District Court Help Center, and within the parameters of the limited scope assistance provided at the Help Center, he assists applicants as extensively as time will allow. Drone McAndrews. Jerry started volunteering his time with the Kansas Legal Services Kansas City office in August of 2017. Although still working full-time with the Jones and McCoy law firm, in 6 months, Mr. McAndrews had volunteered 102 hours to help KLS clients and showed a willingness to assist in any type of case that is needed. Charles Reagan. Charles spends over 40 hours per year as a pro bono board member and counsel to the Derek Thomas Neil Smith Third and Long Foundation, which ministers to the reading and educational needs of 58 children per year and has done so since 1990. He donates at least 30 hours a year to the board and oversees the charitable endeavors of the program as well as the legal needs of the foundation. This foundation has been given awards by President Bush, Governor Carnahan, and Mayor Cleaver. And Charles just recently agreed to serve as pro bono chair of the board for the Autism Speaks Foundation. And Joy Springfield. Miss Springfield, an attorney with the Shook, Hardy & Bacon firm, was nominated because of her time spent volunteering for pro bono cases and helping clients with guardianships, expungements, and divorce. Her clients report that they have received excellent service, and she has also recruited other members with her firm to do pro bono work. Since 2008, Ms. Springfield has provided assistance to 60 KLS clients and has donated 629.2 hours. Congratulations to all of you.
I would now ask that we have the recipients of the Pro Bono Awards please join us. The Pro Bono Awards recognize lawyers or firms for providing a significant amount of time for direct legal services to the poor and the needy, or to organizations that provide support for those entities free of charge. There are 3 recipients this year, and again, we're going to ask you to hold the applause until we get to the end of the group. First up, we have the law firm of Hush Blackwell. And I understand accepting the award on behalf of the firm is Larry McMullen, Christina Pyle, and Michael Rout, and Sean Schiff, I believe. This firm was appointed by Chief Judge Julie Robinson to represent a family of Marine veterans who sought medical care from the Veterans Administration for symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. The veteran committed suicide when he was removed from a list of patients considered a high suicide risk by the VA without conducting a risk assessment. The judge said this directly contributed to his death because had he remained on the list, it would have triggered a VA care plan when the patient canceled an appointment after he completed a 10-week inpatient program. In January of 2018, this case was tried, and in February, the judge ruled in favor of their client. As Larry stated, this case could have been precedential in holding the Veterans Administration accountable for the health of military personnel who have sacrificed so much for our country. So the first Pro Bono Award goes to Hush Blackwell. The second Pro Bono Award goes to my law partner, Doug Greenwald. Doug, for those of you who know him, has done pro bono work in the Kansas City area for years and will take practically any case he's asked to take. Since November 16th of 2015, he's been volunteering every Friday, and in 2017, he assisted 232 clients and presented 434 hours of volunteer services for Kansas Legal Services. That's over 10 weeks of work. Doug has also volunteered at every Kansas City, Kansas Heart of America stand-down event for veterans, and with most of these veterans takes on the representation as opposed to just giving them advice. He is very passionate about the service he provides to his clients, and we're very proud of him as well. Congratulations to Doug Greenwald. Next up, we have the University of Kansas School of Law Legal Aid Clinic. Accepting this award is Melanie DeRouche, Director, and Meredith Shug, the Associate Director. In September of 2017, the KU Legal Aid Clinic recognized an impending deadline for the filing of renewal status forms by those covered by the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, and the DACA children known as the Dreamers. The clinic staff reached out to law faculty, alumni, and students who volunteered their legal skills to help with this task, which was much more difficult than simply filling out a form. But it was the only hope these dreamers had to remain in the United States. Over 120 volunteers were trained and signed up for shifts to help, and this effort created awareness for the need of giving back in this way to a group of future lawyers. Congratulations to all of you.
Would the recipients of the Outstanding Service Awards please come forward? These awards are given for the purpose of recognizing lawyers and judges and citizens for service to the legal profession and for the KBA, and for recognizing non-lawyers for especially meritorious deeds or services that significantly advance the administration of justice or the goals of the legal profession. 4 awards are to be given today. Mark Anderson. Mark is being recognized for his work with the Kansas Electronic Recording Commission, the KERC, and has been the KBA's representative to the KERC board for years. Mark is currently serving as Secretary-Treasurer of the Commission and has been since 2006. As of the end of calendar year 2016, the Register of Deeds in a total of 49 Kansas counties are now accepting documents via electronic recording. It is a commitment of lawyers like Mark and the time he provides to the KERC that keep the important work involving registration of deeds and property records to the highest standards in Kansas. Larry is retired general counsel for the League of Kansas Municipalities and spent over 30 years in the field of local government law. He's written dozens of legal articles, authorized a number of publications, and testified in front of the state legislature on a variety of complex municipal issues. He's lobbied for municipal interest on tax issues, abandoned property issues, business regulations, and many others. When the F5 tornado hit Greensburg, Kansas, he became their de facto city attorney, assembling their city code and helping maintain a functioning city government until the community recovered. The Midwest Innocence Project. Accepting the award on behalf of the Midwest Innocence Project is Tricia Bushnell, the director, and who else do I have? Rachel
Lester.
This project is dedicated to the investigation, litigation, and exoneration of persons who have been wrongfully convicted of serious crimes. They cover a 5-state region. The project partners with law schools, which includes KU. National studies indicate that 2 to 5% of prison inmates may not be guilty of the crimes they have been convicted of, and if the system gets it wrong, it takes typically years to get it right. This project, with the help of the KU Law School, recently was able to exonerate a client of a life sentence after he served 15 years because of the prosecutorial misconduct, a rush to conviction, and overlooked evidence. In that case, the project was able to show that the police spent only a total of 19 and a half minutes interviewing witnesses. Currently, there are 13 cases that the project has in litigation. Congratulations. Susan Sabian. Susan is a member of the Kansas Bar Foundation Iowa Committee. And as a result of the committee's efforts, Core First Bank has agreed to become KBF's founding partner for the IOLTA Partners in Justice Honor Roll program for banks. What they were able to work out was an agreement with Core First that they will pay over market interest rates and waive fees for Kansas IOLTA trust accounts. This will increase funds that can be dispersed to help Kansas in needs, and it is expected that other banks will soon follow their lead.
Next up, we have the Diversity Award. And as you all probably know, we don't give out the award for diversity every year. We don't give out several awards every year. This year we have a recipient for the Diversity Award. And this year's recipient is Eunice Peters. If you're here, can you please come up? There we are. Thought I saw you over there. This award is intended to recognize an individual who has showed a continued commitment to diversity. Eunice is being recognized as one of the biggest diversity cheerleaders of all of the KBA. She has for a number of years demonstrated a consistent pattern of recruitment efforts directed at diverse attorneys for job positions in various government agencies, private law firms, and involvement in the KBA as well. Eunice has worked tirelessly to support the existence of overall diversity in the workplace and has helped provide job leads and other support for diverse attorneys in their search for employment in meaningful positions. She has ensured that diverse KBA members have been at the forefront of KBA policy planning, implementation, and was recently appointed by the KBA Board of Governors because of her efforts, where she will continue to expand her outreach even more. Ms. Peters, thank you very much.
The Outstanding Young Lawyer Award from my neck of the woods. The Outstanding Young Lawyer Award is being presented to Jocelyn Kuziak. This award is given to a lawyer who has to belong to the KBA Young Lawyers section and who has rendered meritorious service to the legal profession, the community, or the KBA. From the beginning of her legal career, Jocelyn drove right in to lend her efforts to many community and charitable organizations, as well as the KBA and KBF, having served in various offices, most currently as the ABA representative from the Young Lawyer section. She is truly the Energizer Buddy of community service. Thanks to her support of her community and of our legal profession, she has improved the lives of Kansas and the reputation of lawyers as a whole. Her nomination form stated that they don't know of any other lawyer who has made such an impact so early in their career. Congratulations.
Next, we have the Courageous Attorney Award. The Courageous Attorney Award this year is being given to Rekha Sharma Crawford. Rekha, will you please come forward? This award is another award that we don't give every year because the purpose of this award is to recognize lawyers who have displayed exceptional courage in the face of adversity, above and beyond what is ordinarily expected of lawyers. The attorney may not always be taking the most popular position or a non-controversial case, but sometimes that's the right thing to do. Rekha is a passionate advocate for immigration rights as applied to the fair application of the law, and in her work has displayed courage in the face of institutional and political pressures that disfavor immigrant clients. In 2015, along with her husband, her firm won a case in front of the United States Supreme Court preventing the deportation of a client who had a green card and was legally in the United States. And the reason for the attempted deportation was only because he'd been arrested for DUI. Most recently, Rekha had represented the Lawrence, Kansas research scientist and academic who is facing deportation after being in the United States for more than 30 years, having 3 children between the ages of 6 and 13 born in the United States, and now living in Lawrence. Her client was picked up and sent to an ICE facility in Hawaii, but she was able to bring him back to a facility in Platte County, Missouri, pending his request to be allowed to stay with his family under order of suspension. The case obviously is difficult, and there's a lot at stake in this contentious political environment, and has made quite a few news headlines across the country. In face of this, she's displayed enormous courage that many of us would not have, and we want to congratulate her for her work. Thank you.
So I first want to start by simply saying thank you to the Kansas Bar. I have never considered myself to be courageous. In fact, just ask my assistant when she handed me a message that said, "The bar called." In seriousness, I have always considered myself to be more of a hang on for dear life type of person. This is because I have known courage to meet parents who, with a few dollars in their pockets and a dream for their daughters, came to the United States because it represented a place where dreams could be achieved. And I have known courage to meet a 40-year-old single mother with cerebral palsy who raised a boy into a man who served and protected his community for 15 years. But to me, courage is an ensemble. It can be seen in the images of countless attorneys grabbing their computers and running into airports across this nation in defense of those constitutional principles which we hold so dear. And in the voice of a community in the middle of the country, so outraged by having one of their own placed in jeopardy, that they demanded the whole world hear them. And in the strength of a large firm that, despite not fully understanding the battle ahead, made available their top litigators to help stand up against oppression. I see it to mean the courage of 3 children who marched into government offices and stood in the media's glare for some 6 weeks to plead for their father's release. This is what I see when I think of courage. And that you would include me in such a group, I find it incredibly humbling. For I do not consider what I did as courageous. I consider it instead a mere reflection of all those who taught me, mentored me, and nurtured me about the ideas of due process and the wonders of the practice of law. And so I say to them, as I say to you, thank you.
But she's got great shoes on. Judge Larry Hendricks, will you please come forward? Distinguished Government Service Award recipient. The Distinguished Government Service Award recognizes a lawyer from our state who has demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to government services. Again, this award is only given when there is a recipient worthy of such award. It's for people that do more than just doing their jobs, and Judge Hendricks is certainly worthy. The committee loved the fact that on the day we met and selected him, that was actually the day he retired. Judge Hendricks has had an esteemed career and was dedicated to governmental service. His service began when he was in college, joining the ROTC, and then serving in the Air Force. Early in his career, he served as city attorney for several Kansas small cities and was special counsel to Coffee County. Those cities with shoestring budgets often paid far less than market rates for their lawyers. Judge Hendricks was appointed to the bench in 2006 and was assigned, or volunteered for, many of the toughest cases to be decided by Kansas in years. Since Shawnee County, where he sat, is the court of original jurisdiction for constitutional issues, Judge Hendricks has decided controversial cases on school finance, abortion, the budget of the Kansas judiciary, and voter registration. He was never afraid to make an unpopular decision in order to make what he believed to be the correct decision. Even with his plate full, Larry has served on committees to review the Shawnee County Family Law Guidelines, the Juvenile Court Procedures and Practices. He served on the CASA Board, the Safe Visit Board, Topeka High School Site Council, the Sunflower Soccer Association, and he's presented numerous CLEs. Judge Hendricks was nominated because of his extreme dedication to service for his state, county, and country.
Well, let me say first that Ms. Sharma Crawford's a tough act to follow. What a career that you've had in a short time. So, but I want to thank very much the KBA for this award. I am very honored and privileged to get it. I am also very honored and privileged to be a member of the Kansas Bar Association, and having worked with all of you in one capacity or another at some time. The decisions I've made in the cases I have, in large part, were because of the attorneys that were before me, that were very professional and high quality attorneys, not only in Topeka, Kansas, but around the state. I've had from Wichita, Kansas City, out west, Salina, around Topeka. I find that the Kansas attorneys that come before me are well prepared and give me the product that I needed on the bench to make the types of decisions that I made, be that good or bad. But again, I appreciate the award. Thank you very much. Keep doing, Kansas lawyers, what you're doing for the state, and keep helping us that are on the bench, that were on the bench for me, and those that are now on the bench, to be able to do what they do. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the Pillars of the Community Award. This is actually the second year for the Pillars of Community Award, and we have 2 recipients. Those of you who know them both will know why the awards committee decided to give it to these 2 gentlemen. First, Tom Adrian, and we'd ask you to come up. I believe Tom's here. Yes. And second, Robert Wise, who unfortunately cannot be present with us today. The Pillars of Community Award was established to recognize lawyers that have a general legal practice in predominantly low density population areas of Kansas. Contributions to the legal profession to the community are just a few of the factors that are considered by the community. These gentlemen are clearly worthy. Tom Adrian is one of the founders and shareholders of a 6-lawyer firm in Newton, and has been the managing shareholder since the beginning, over 40 years ago. Tom has long been active as a leader in his community and as a volunteer. He was chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Newton Medical Center and the president, the Harvey County Bar Association past president, member of the Council on Finance and Administration of the Kansas West United Methodist Conference, past president, was named Trustee of the Year by the Kansas Hospital Association and Outstanding Citizen of the Year for the Newton Chamber of Commerce. Tom was on the Kansas Bar Foundation for years and was president in 2004. He's been involved with the KBA CLE committee and former president of the solo and small firm section of the KBA. What is also impressive about Tom is that he has biked across Kansas a number of times, still skis, hikes, and camps. Congratulations, Tom.
The first thing I want to say is I'm so sorry that Bob Wise can't be here. For those of you that know him, he is, to be compared with Bob Wise is really something. And to share this award is quite an honor for me. It's hard for me to describe the esteem that I hold for Bob. And I see some of his former partners in the audience and so forth. I want to talk a little bit, and very little, Dave Rabine, about what it's like to be a lawyer in a small town. And I'll use an example. My wife has spent her professional career dealing with exceptional students, sort of what I would call the high end of students, those who are commonly referred to as gifted. And in that capacity, the story came back to me about this 4th grade girl who, when asked to describe what it was like to be gifted, she said, "Everybody said I was smart, so I decided to be." And lawyers in small towns are gifted that presumption. We are presumed to be smart, presumed to be capable of serving on committees, chair of various boards, and so on. And so we are gifted a presumption, and we have the option of living up to that or to not. And so it's difficult to say that there's anything to be necessarily assigned as great ability to us when we're only doing what people presume we are able to do. So really, we in this room you in this room are powerful people, because you're all granted a presumption, and you can affect change in your community for things that need to be changed, and you can affect reaction to change so that society is better. So my charge to you is to do your job that you're presumed to do. Thank you.
I've known Bob Wise for years, and those of you who know him know that his wife took ill, and of course he would be with her and wouldn't be coming today. He was probably one of the first persons I met when I started coming to annual meetings, and he was very influential in getting me involved with the bar. Bob came to McPherson in 1952 as a student at McPherson College and chose to return to practice law after completing law school. Bob has been instrumental in the development of the McPherson community over the last 60 years and was president of the McPherson Industrial Development Company, helping to recruit 2 flagship industries. Bob has worked with the Chamber, past president of the United Way, a member of the hospital board, and he chaired the New Building Committee. In addition to his community involvement, Bob is a past president of the KBA, the State Board of Law Examiners. He has been on the 9th District Judicial Nominating Committee since 1975. A past president of the Kansas Association of Defense Counsel, a former member of the Board of Advisors of the National Law Center of George Washington University, and a fellow of the American and Kansas Bar Foundations. One of the letters nominating Bob said that he is the most important and admired person in McPherson over the past 50 years, if not in its entire history, and that he is that rare individual who never sought recognition or acclaim. He has mentored many lawyers in his firm and members of the KBA Board of Governors. He's been described as one of the nicest, most gracious lawyers in existence. Now, Bob couldn't come, but he did send me his remarks that he would want to have told you. Most lawyers, and certainly all of you here, care about improving their community and care about something beyond themselves. That's who we are. I owe others all the credit for providing me the opportunity to do my part. My wife, Anita, has been so supportive throughout my career. Our firm culture has been that service to our clients is enhanced by community involvement. All of my firm colleagues not only indulged but actively supported my efforts to better our community while they did all the hard work. I thank every one of them, past and present, and so many wonderful KBA colleagues for their inspiration over many decades. They all deserve this recognition. Thank you. Randy, I believe, is accepting the award.